So you would like take your step back if they were not willing to find a way to live separately, right?
Yeah, if she's constantly overstepping boundaries and she and I don't get along, maybe she doesn't like
Mm.
me because I'm interloping, right? There's no way to win in that situation.
He promised me the world, a princess in a tower. But now I'm just a girl, watching hours turn to sour. I pack my bags.
Before dropping into the next 7 or so minutes, I want to apologize beforehand for mispronunciation. I have no idea why I've talked about this person and always said his name correctly in private and then flubbed it on a podcast. Secondly, and more importantly, I want to acknowledge how easy it is to say that someone should have not made a particular choice without having an understanding of the totality of their circumstances at the time that choice was made. Gossip is never so much about the person being discussed as it is about the bond that it creates between the people doing the gossiping, and, as humans, we are hardwired to do it. If only Mr. Rogers was still around doing a reboot of his show where he talks about 90-day fiancé while he takes off his shoes and feeds his fish.
Before I tell you the topic today, I am going to start us off with a scenario. I'm going to tell you the scenario, and I want you to basically tell me what you would do in this situation. All right, here it is. So you have just moved across the world to be with your partner, who just so happens to be a self-proclaimed mama's boy. You, you try your best to accommodate his mother in both of your lives, but she often oversteps, commenting on almost everything you do, and is consistently getting in your business and offering her point of view. You have been dealing with these sorts of things for weeks when your mother-in-law accuses you of using her son for his money. This is the final straw for you, and in a fit of rage, you flush your wedding ring down the toilet. Since there is no turning back, you have to face this. Do you pretend it never happened, or find a way to break the news to your husband and monster-in-law over a nice brunch?
Okay, so he's already my husband, not a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And we didn't set boundaries with the mother before we got married. Did I not know she was this bad before I married him?
I don't think you knew.
Okay,
It was kind of like, oh, by the way, my mom lives in my house with me.
I see. Okay. Well, I would have a serious conversation with him first. And I would say, this is untenable. First I would ask, like, what do you observe in the dynamic here with your mother and I and you? And his answer would tell me a lot. If he says, oh, it's not a problem, then I would think to myself, this is too much of a boulder to try to move. If he says, I totally see where she's overstepping and making life difficult, then I would ask, because people generally, she's going to be what, like 60, 70? It's going to be very hard to change her behavior at that point, I think. That raises the question of why is she living there? That's a whole other thing. Is she living there for financial reasons, or is she living there because they're just that enmeshed? Or maybe she has health reasons. See, all of those, that plays a huge part.
Yes, it definitely does. I think in this situation, your husband
Can we
and
just
their
can we
mother.
just say this is Debbie and Cole and get it out of the way?
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. Okay. So those two, let's just say they um kind of rely on each other a lot. And maybe it yeah.
Okay, so here's my take on Debbie, and I want to be very
Okay.
careful. Not that she's ever going to hear this, but always be careful to speak
Yeah.
about a real person with feelings and etc.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
you have to look at the factor that her husband passed away, um,
Hmm.
and that Cole was premature, and so that would have been scary. And plus, on top of that, she thought she would never have children. So you have those three factors combining, and if you hear her version of the story is that Cole came home from school one day at like the age of 7 and said, I don't want to go back. Um, and she didn't make him. Now,
Hmm.
I think that is the crux of where things went sideways, right? Instead of saying, "Oh, you don't
Mhm.
have to go to school," like find out why your kid doesn't want to go to school. Find a solution.
Right.
Don't make it just the two of you because he's going to wind up enmeshed with you. And
Yeah. It's like when does it end? The
right. And the other, so you have to wonder about Debbie. Was she afraid of being alone? Like, grief can be terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, I just know from my experience after my first husband passed away, the absolute pain of like having no one to hug you in that way. And what you want is the continuity of a relationship. She should have made Cole go back to school and she should have addressed her grief and her fear. And I think that would have avoided
Being called a cluster.
uh, their whole mess. Their whole mess, right? Um, but those are critical life choices that are hard to step back from. But back to your scenario. Um,
Hmm.
so it would depend on why the mother is living there, right?
Right.
And if it's not financial and it's not because she's ill, just because she wants to, well, then you got to go, lady. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
If you're going to be married, it should be a happy marriage. It shouldn't be a triangulated marriage. And this is going to be nothing but stress and tension for all involved, you know?
Yes.
So good luck to you both.
Hmm.
And I'll be on my way.
Okay. So you would like take your step back if they were not willing to find a way to live separately, right?
Yeah, if she's constantly overstepping boundaries and she and I don't get along, maybe she doesn't like
Mm.
me because I'm interloping, right? There's no way to win in that situation. And
Right.
I personally just do not have the wherewithal to try to change a very strong dynamic with people who don't want to change, right?
Right.
If people are arguing or have a conflict and everyone in the situation is like, okay, how do we all hear each other out and how do we find resolution? That's a different thing.
Right.
But if the conversations are not that and keep recycling back through old issues, in my opinion, there's no winning. And so, yeah, to answer your question, I would probably end up, I don't know,
Running for the
like, is
hills.
this is this the country I like? Do I already have my equivalent of a green card for wherever?
Right.
Because maybe I'd move
Yeah.
out. I'd have my own place, and if I really liked him, maybe he and I would date. And he could just stay over at my place.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but
Kind of take that initiative to get out and then say, all right, you gonna join me? Or are you gonna stay with mommy?
yeah, exactly.